We are pleased to start the 2021 third quarter investor conference presentation for Oneness Biotech. This investor conference presentation has been joined by the company founder, Mr. William Lu, Vice President Medical Science, Dr. Shigen Chen, Vice President Finance, Ms. Cherry Chen, Vice President Antibody Development, Dr. Nianyi Chen. This is the forward-looking statement for your reference. The R&D progress will be updated as of September 22nd. The key pipeline progress includes FBA25 anti-Semix phase 2 studies. There are 2 studies for 2 indications undergoing. FB704A anti-IL-6 under phase 2 study and under the development of a second indication. The third one is ON101, macrophage regulator under phase 3 study in the USA, under China NDA review, under medical device development, Asian +1 NDA progress with international publications, and with extramural program. The fourth one is OB318, an anti-liver cancer molecule under phase 1 study. The next one is FB918, an anti-IL-33 under preclinical development. And lastly, SNS812 under preclinical development. There is a total of 6 drugs. Firstly, with regards to FBA25 phase 2A study in atopic dermatitis, the enrollment has been completed in June this year. We have recruited 99 subjects. The analysis of primary efficacy endpoints will be completed in the fourth quarter of this year, which is the change from baseline in EASI score. By January next year, the entire study will be completed. In March next year, we'll be unblinding the study, and the clinical study report will be completed in the second quarter next year. Although the progress of this study was disturbed by COVID-19 last year, we will still successfully complete the trial and the CSR as planned. This also means that we'll be able to recognize the upfront payment of the license deal. For FB825 phase 2B, according to our license agreement, our international partner will take over clinical trial of phase 2B. Bridging study for subcutaneous dosage is under preparation. Necessary clinical trials for various global markets have been planned. Initiating phase 2B clinical trial in accordance with the license agreement means we will receive the milestone payment of the license deal. The bridging study for subcutaneous dosage is a preparation for the upcoming clinical trials. Going forward, the final dosage form of FB825 will be under subcutaneous dosage form. Atopic dermatitis, the most watched disease for treatment globally, comes with very fierce international competitions. One of the competitors is a JAK inhibitor. Last month, Pfizer announced its JAK1 molecule, abrocitinib, top Dupixent, a current blockbuster drug in head-to-head study in the atopic dermatitis. Now, many major pharmaceutical companies have invested in the development of JAK inhibitors. But the safety of JAKs is still a huge concern, including at least upadacitinib in 3 clinical trials in atopic dermatitis where serious infections have occurred. JAK inhibitors are dosed orally every day. It's a non-receptor tyrosine kinase that transmits inflammatory signaling pathway. In addition, administered daily, the treatment cost of JAK inhibitors is actually expensive, similar to biologics. Atopic dermatitis is a lifelong chronic disease, so the long-term safety has been a concern for JAK inhibitors to the US FDA. This is also why the US FDA has postponed twice the NDA review due to safety concerns. Speaking of JAK, it is considered the current strongest competitors in the international market for AD treatment. So the global leading drug of atopic dermatitis, Sanofi's antibody drug Dupixent, which continues to maintain an unrivaled growth from 918 million euros in the third quarter in 2020 to the fourth quarter in 2020, with a growth of 7%. This year, the first quarter continued to grow by 7%, and the second quarter by 19%. It is estimated that this year the revenue will be close to $6 billion US. This drug will also be the biggest competitor of FBA25 in the future. For the phase 2A clinical progress of the second indication of FBA25, allergic asthma, we have activated 4 medical centers for recruitment. The first patient was enrolled this month. We have revised the timeline estimation of enrollment completion, and we will postpone it by 1 quarter. In the first half of next year, the entire enrollment will be completed, and the trial would be completed in the second half of 2022. With regards to the clinical progress of FB704A for severe asthma under phase 2 study, in the last month, 4 medical centers have been activated for enrollment. This month's standardization of sputum neutrophils test was completed. This is a key test in patient screening and a very new technology. We have to ensure that each medical center can accurately screen neutrophils from sputum for analysis. The enrollment is aimed to be completed in the first half of 2022, and the clinical study report CSR will be completed in the second half of 2022. We recently discontinued FB704A's IND application for COVID-19. The main reason is that during the application for an IND, the US FDA also granted an emergency use authorization and EUA for another anti-IL-6 receptor antibody drug, tocilizumab, and included it as a treatment of standard care, SOC, for the infected patients. Our Ministry of Health and Welfare in Taiwan also reimbursed the use of tocilizumab. Therefore, after our assessment, it does not make much sense to invest a lot of resources to develop the same indication. The resources for the development of new drug for COVID-19 will be prioritized for the development of SNS-A12 and siRNA new drug. Second indication of FB704A is a chronic kidney disease, CKD. Everyone knows that IL-6 is the main target of FB704A, and IL-6 is related to the inflammation. CKD is an indication with huge market potential. However, most of the other 5 anti-IL-6 drugs currently on the market are focusing in rheumatoid arthritis and orphan indications. Indications with huge market potential have not yet been discovered. Until last year, Covidia Therapeutics in the United States completed a CKD phase 2 study. The main indicator of this trial is to see the reduction of cardiovascular disease, which is a complication of the chronic kidney disease. Its clinical efficacy was very good. They used very low dose of anti-IL-6 to achieve a very significant effect. And what is CKD? Basically, many people over 60 years old inevitably will suffer from cardiovascular disease and kidney disease. 700 million people worldwide suffer from CKD. It is closely related to the elevation of IL-6. And the C-reactive protein CRP is a key indicator of this inflammation. Corvidia only had 2 drugs, this anti-IL-6 drug and another drug targeting a comparatively smaller market. After the company completed this trial, it was acquired by Novo Nordisk through a $2.1 billion USD deal. Novo Nordisk is a large pharma company in Denmark and a major diabetic drug manufacturer in the world. The upfront payment for this deal was $725 million USD, which means that anti-IL-6 new drug can be a blockbuster in the treatment of CKD. The phase 1 clinical trial of FB704A can effectively reduce CRP, which is a key indicator for chronic inflammation. We are therefore currently evaluating the feasibility of this new indication, and we are expecting to make the final decision and announce it at the next investor conference in December. The purpose of developing a second indication is that the indication we are currently doing is neutrophilic asthma, which is also the first in the world to use anti-IL-6 for this indication. We are the first in the world doing so, so it does not mean that it will be necessarily successful. We must be prepared for all possible risks. The best way for risk management is to continue to expand the value of the drug. So if things are going well, we will conduct the study of neutrophilic asthma, and in addition to this, we will also conduct a study of CKD. So altogether, there will be 2 phase 2 clinical trials. Following is the update on the progress of ON101's phase 3 clinical trial in the United States. The second phase 3 clinical trial in the United States have been initiated in the second quarter of this year. 15 sites have been selected for enrollment in the third quarter, and 2 patients as of now have been enrolled. The completion of the enrollment of all 208 patients is scheduled to be in the second half of next year. In the first half of next year, this trial will be completed, and the CSR will be completed in the third quarter in 2023. This project will be different from the first phase 3 study we had in the past. For the first phase 3, it passed the IND in 2012 and completed in 2020. It was an international multi-center clinical trial. And this time, we are very experienced and are working with a very good CRO. So we are having very efficient and professional communication. So we hope that we can complete the enrollment next year. This is critical for us because we want to enter the market as soon as possible. Moving on is the update on the NDA progress of ON101 in China. The CDE technical review has been completed, and it is currently at the document preparation and processing stage. Basically, there are 3 parts of NDA process in China. The first is the CDE evaluation. The second is a review by the National Institute for Food and Drug Control. The National Institute for Food and Drug Control inspects all the samples and all the reagents. So for this part, we have sent the reference standards and confirm that they have all been received. And the third phase is the GCP inspection. So we now have CD inspection completed, and under the National Institute for Food and Drug Control conducting the inspection. And the GCP inspection is also taking place now. Last week and the week before last week, 2 clinical sites in Shanghai have completed the GCP inspection, and 2 more clinical sites in the south will be inspected this week. So far, all the inspections have gone smoothly. So next is the process for Fespison's market entry into Asian +1, which means Asian countries and India. Our first phase of this project is application for entry into 3 countries, including Singapore, Malaysia, and Thailand. On the 17th of this month, we have submitted a package to Singapore HSA for screening, which means the administrative check. So this is a qualification review. If there are no problems, we will go to the substantive review. We have also simultaneously filed the application with a priority review request. We will submit a package to Malaysia MPRA for screening the administrative check as well in the next month. We have completed the consultation meeting with Thai FDA in August this year, but we still need to wait until the end of this month after the release of the new version of Thai guideline on product classification to once again confirm the application route. When the things are confirmed, the application will be filed. So these are the 3 countries in the first phase of the Asian market entry project, including Singapore, Malaysia, and Thailand. In August of this year, we launched the second phase of the project targeting 4 more countries, namely Asian +1, Asian plus India. India is another potential market. So for the second phase of the project include 4 countries, including India, Vietnam, the Philippines, and Indonesia. We have planned to submit clinical trial waiver to Indian Health Authority after mid-October, and the NDA submission will be made once the waiver is granted. Regulatory pathways of Vietnam, the Philippines, and Indonesia have been analyzed, and written consultation with the regulatory authorities will be made accordingly during the 4th quarter of this year and 1st quarter of next year. Our goal is to be able to enter the Asian market in 2022. Following will be the progress of medical device application in the United States and Europe. As you all know, the purpose of medical device application is that we hope to have an alternative product that can enter the market as early as possible during a long period of drug research and development. So we try to submit medical device application and facilitate communication while doing the clinical study. After our medical device application was filed this year, we received FDA's RTA request, which is a refuse to accept request, and also requirement for supplementation. So we filed again in August, and this time it has already been determined by writing that the application can be accepted for review under medical device regulations. So now the medical device regulations are applicable to our filing, and we have submitted the supplementary documents in September. So if all goes well, we will enter the substantial review process in the 4th quarter of this year, and we expect to complete the entire review process in the 2nd quarter of next year. We hope that after obtaining medical device license in the United States next year, in conjunction with our current international negotiation on the product, it can be launched in the market as soon as possible. As to the Europe medical device application, we plan to submit the application in a new dosage form because the EU and the United States have different regulations. The new dosage form, the ISO 13485 qualification system for medical device, was originally scheduled to be certified in September. Now it will be delayed by 1 month, and the certification will be obtained in January next year. This will satisfy the necessary conditions for the European Union's agenda. So basically, we will submit the application under low risk product classification, and the application is scheduled to be submitted in the second quarter of next year for EU. On-11 phase 3 data have been published on JAMA Network Open on September 3rd this year. The article has also been reported by several healthcare media. We have received feedback from international key opinion leaders, pharma companies, and research institutes for collaboration on research or licensing. The second manuscript we are preparing is with regards to the mechanism of actions of On11 in cell and animal studies. We have planned to submit the manuscript by end of this month. Basically, the final revision has been made. And the third manuscript we are preparing is with regards to the mechanism of action of On11 in humans. So we have initiated a clinical MOA study for this exploration. The last subject has been enrolled this month. And this trial is under double-blinded design. With the treatment group and the control group, we can look into the changes in the expression of immune cells and compare that with our original hypothesis. The manuscript of On11 has been scheduled for submission by first quarter of 2022. These 3 publications will provide scientific basis for the marketing of Vespisone. For the collaboration with academic and research institutes, we have also driven the professional research of Vespisone, encouraged the industry, academia, and research institute to participate in Vespisone's academic and clinical research in order to expand the added value of the new drug. We have completed 6 programs, which is in total of 9 projects. So that includes 3 projects of the DFU mechanism of action. One of them includes the kidney dialysis patients. Also, DFU biofilm study, venous leg ulcer study, best sores, scars. For scars, there are 2 projects, and also the radiation dermatitis. For radiation dermatitis, we have completed preliminary exploration, and it seems very effective. This time, after the confirmatory trials in radiation dermatitis for breast cancer and head and neck cancers, we will decide whether to conduct a relatively large-scale trial. The DFU biofilms will be also explored. So these projects are the collaborative industry, university, institute programs with top medical centers, scholars, and physicians in Taiwan. And we are expecting to expand the indication and the new drug value of Vespisone. We also actively participate in different medical conferences or exhibitions for Vespisone, including the Taiwan Society for Burn Injuries and Wound Healing 2021 annual meeting held in Tainan in September, the China International Import Expo in Shanghai in November, the EASD annual meeting in the end of September, as well as the annual meeting of Taiwan Society of Plastic Surgery, where Professor Shigen Chen will give an oral presentation in December. The reimbursement pricing application, which everyone is keen to know, is very important to the patients, as we are very much aware that some DFU patients are with low economic status. For the National Health Insurance Reimbursement Price, we have already started working with an expert for pharmacoeconomic analysis since January this year. For DFU trial systematic review and meta-analysis, where our JAMA Network Open publication is included, we have started working with a global CRO on this project since July this year. So with the above-mentioned projects, we aim to satisfy the NHI pricing application requirements. We have also started a retrospective study on the medical records of the Taiwanese participants who joined the completed phase 3 study since September. So this is to support the within-trial analysis and the modeling analysis under the pharmacoeconomic analysis, so that we can provide enhanced evidence to support the study and analysis. All the projects and analysis are anticipated to be completed in November, and the NHI pricing application will be filed in December this year. In order to accelerate the use of Vespisone worldwide, we have planned a U.S. expanded access program, which is a compassionate use program. We designed an advertisement for September-October issue of American Podiatry Medical Association News. This news magazine has more than 14,000 subscribers from podiatry. This advertisement will be very helpful for bringing awareness of the Expanded Access Program, EAP, of N101 in the United States. We also started a named patient program with a company based in UK, and this program is for Europe, UK, Russia, South America, and MENA regions. This will be able to bring Vespisone treatment to the countries where the marketing authorization has yet been obtained, and also increase the international exposure of the treatment. In terms of the global collaboration and licensing progress, we are under discussion with many pharma companies in China with strong sales capabilities and receive proposals. The decision making will be after we receive the NDA in China. For ex-China regions, including Southeast Asia, Japan, Europe, and the United States, those major markets, we are under negotiations with many multinational companies. The publication on the international journal will be able to add value to the basis for the collaboration discussion. An international consulting company also started working with Oneness to screen and connect more potential partners who have international market sales capabilities. All the attempts can be helpful in maximizing the advantages during negotiation. Moving on is the progress of OB318 trial enrollment. OB318 is currently undergoing the phase 1 study for safety evaluation. The indication of OB318 is to treat liver cancers. Now, for this trial, the first cohort was completed. For the trial progress, we have to complete one cohort first before moving on to the next one. So in the beginning, it was very challenging for recruitment, and we are now gradually moving on to the right track. The safety committee have reviewed the data of the first cohort and feedback that no amendment is required. They also confirmed cohort 2 can be initiated. So we are expecting to complete the phase 1 clinical trial next year. On the progress of development of FB918, an anti-IL-33 antibody new drug for treatment in non-allergic eosinophilic asthma. This is also part of our strategic pipeline for asthma treatment. We have screened a number of effective lead antibodies and continue to use the fully human antibody library to carry out antibody screening and optimization. The antibody candidate is scheduled to be completed in 2021, which is end of this year. We are aiming to complete preclinical development and start clinical studies in 2023. Following is SNS812. It's a small interference RNA new drug for COVID-19 treatment. It's co-developed by Microbiome Shanghai Nucleic Acid Team and Oneness Research Team. The global patent of this new drug was filed in December of 2020. This siRNA new drug has been designed to target the conserved region of SARS-CoV-2 virus. By targeting the specific gene sequence in the conserved region, the siRNA new drug blocks the sequence and it activates the virus, stopping it from replication. The target viral genome covered 99.8% of SARS-CoV-2 virus strains according to the NCBI database, which has accumulated more than 200,000 virus strains data published. In other words, almost 99.8% of the virus strains are in the target range of this siRNA new drug. We have completed studies on the virus and confirmed that SNS812 can inhibit the Wuhan variant, Alpha variant, Gamma variant, Epsilon variant, and Delta variant. We haven't done any study on Beta variant as it is rare in Taiwan. So this is the current in vitro studies with virus we have done. In HACE2 mice model, transgenic mice challenged by the Delta variant, we saw that SNS812 can inhibit the viral load in the lungs of mice significantly in both the pre-exposure prophylaxis or post-exposure treatment. The lung histopathology of HACE2 mice demonstrated that pulmonary alveolar damage, vascular thrombi, and immune cell infiltration associated with severe infection have been reduced. SNS812 is highly specific with low immunogenicity and cell toxicity. We have applied for an US FDA pre-IND. The FDA directly gave us a number, and we are now in communications for more details. The FDA also gave us a lot of accessible resources. We are hoping to initiate the IND package as soon as possible in the next year. So this is all the update of the R&D progress. Thank you for listening. The next investor conference presentation is scheduled to take place in December this year.